final score, Melbourne victory 0, Wrexham 3. That was a very tasty way to start off your pre-season. I mean, okay, I am going to be terribly repetitive in saying this throughout pre-season, so I might as well get over and done with and do it for the first time. The way you measure pre-season is to state we're in on the first day of the actual season. Everything else doesn't matter, really. It's a preparatory exercise. Are we in good condition? Have we embedded new players? Have we embedded any tweaks to our system? Those are the things that really matter. And although also confidence is important, and winning games breeds confidence, and no professional footballer worth their salt is going to go out onto a pitch in a friendly and not care, because that's how you improve, isn't it? By caring, by working hard, whether it's a match, training or a friendly. But the truth of the matter is that really the results don't matter that much. So having added my massive codicil at the start of this, that looks really good, didn't it? I mean, let's again create some more context here. This is the side that got us promoted from League One. We changed it completely at half-time. How's your squad depth? And the Melbourne Victory side have got to the final of the A-League in both of the last two seasons, lost both finals, admittedly. That side had 6 of the players that started last season's A-League final. So that was a decent Melbourne side. They were younger in the second half, I accept. But we were already looking good in the first half against a strong setup by them. We, from the very beginning, showed good energy. In fact, after 20 seconds, we had the first shot on goal. Good pressing by Longman on the edge of the area to win the ball back and finds Matty James, who's wearing the captain's armband. He pops it in quickly to Lee. Lee sets himself. He could have played an overlap, but instead he drove it in from just outside the box, just left of centre. Sharp save for Duncan, but, one you'd expect him to make. And the early drama continued because after about 60 seconds, for my money, Melbourne should have had a penalty. It was a nice bit of play in midfield with Makak finding Darrico, and he worked the ball out to the right-hand side. Santos then went cutting in, fed it back to Darrico, who was about 10 yards out, drove in a shot. Scar threw himself at it on the edge of the 6-yard box. It hit his arm. It went under his body as he tried to block it. It hit his arm. Was it a deliberate handball? No. Was his hand away from his body? Yes. And you can't argue anymore because sadly I think that the advent of VAR has meant there's been an awful lot of tinkering with rules in quite close succession to make VAR easier rather than get the rules right. There was only, about a year and a half ago that if you were diving and your body weight was being supported by your arm and your hand was on the ground, then if it hit that arm, can't be handball. That rule's been dropped now. So it hit his arm as he was going down to support himself. For me, that's a penalty. But anyway, ref didn't give it. And the frantic pace continues because we went up the other side and looked to threaten. Melbourne come back at us and Arthur Okonkwo is called into action. This time, it's a really lovely turn in the middle of the pitch by one of the wide Melbourne players, Jelicic. And then he fed the ball on. Lovely touch by the French attacking midfielder, Machash. And, beg your pardon. I misread my notes there. He fed out to Santos. Santos drives in a shot. Okonkwo does well to get down and push it clear. Machash does get it first, though, in the box, left of centre. If he controls it properly, it's a chance he miscontrols it. But he will show quality as the game goes on. And it was Melbourne continuing to make what opportunities there were. Machash then with a good through ball to send Santos in down the right channel into the box. 1-on-1 with Okonkwo. Great recovering tackle by Revan, who comes back gains a lot of ground on Santos, who looked quick and makes an excellent challenge. An awful lot was coming through that right-hand side. Santos is quick. He's running at O'Connor, and O'Connor wasn't very comfortable with it. It's pre-season. I wouldn't panic too much about that. But he was running at him. He was exposed as well, because obviously, as we know how Wrexham play, we're pushing our wing-backs high up the pitch, and Santos was getting a run at him from deep and causing him issues. And also, Mashash was very good playing off the striker, just dropping off in slightly deeper positions. He had lovely feet, was able to make a bit of space, and was feeding Santos well. So they had threat. But having said that, one save by Okonkwo in these early first half of the first half, which you would expect him to make, we weren't getting opened up too much, and we started then to get a grip of it. On the right-hand side, where Santos was on one flank, on the other flank, Ryan Longman was getting a heck of a lot of service and was putting a lot of balls into the box. He looked very impressive. He really looked sharp. If we're going to be harsh, we might ask, could he have hit his man a bit more often? Because he put a hell of a lot of crosses in there. But he did put a lot of good quality in as well. And that little final bit of accuracy, we've seen what he can do. That'll be coming as the season approaches, I'm sure. So he fed a ball into the right-hand side. It's behind Marius, who was just inside the box. Marius does really well. It's a good take by him as he stretches backwards, lays it off to Matty James just outside the D. James tries to lift it over the keeper. It won't come down in time and goes over the bar. Then another chance set up by Longman for Marius. Good ball by Longman, who tucked inside, feeds a good ball down the channel. Marriott runs onto it, takes the shot on the run from the edge of the box, but slices across it and can't quite keep it on target, misses outside the near post. Then it's Okonkwo involved once more. Lovely feast by Mashash in midfield, playing a nice little 1-2. A great take, drives in a shot from the edge of the box. Good parry this by Okonkwo, going down to his left. Good strong wrists, pushes it firmly behind for the corner. But Wrexham are now starting to get a bit more control in midfield. Dobson's looking sharp. Elliot Lee as well grew into this first half. And we make a couple of chances from set pieces by Matty James in quick succession. The first one, good delivery by James. Wrexham block off well. Scar has a header, powerful header from about 15 yards. He really nails it, going under the bar. Great save by Duncan, who manages to get back and tip it over the bar. And then we nearly catch Melbourne out again from this corner, taken quickly by James. Lee just gets a little bit too early, about 10 yards out, and therefore can't control his header, puts it over the bar. But we are closing the half impressively. Scar stands up a diagonal. Ollie Palmer helps it down, and it's a great take on the run by Revan. 10 yards out, wide of the far post. Takes it on his chest as it drops, volleys it, puts her into the side netting. Couple of minutes later, Longman with a super cross to the far post. Revan as well, nods it backwards for Marius, who from about 8 yards out heads towards goal. A defender blocks it 6 yards out before an opportunity for Melbourne as Vergos is dropping off. He's playing up front. He's not getting much opportunity. He's pinning our centre-backs, but he's not really getting much opportunity to show what he can do. Drops deep and finds a bit of space, holds off Elliot Lee and drills in a shot from outside the box, which goes off target, wide of the left-hand post. But then we push on again. Another James delivery from a set-piece. Scar heading it down, and a wonderful effort by Max Cleworth, who tries an overhead kick from 10 yards out. And it's a beauty, and he nails it under the bar. Terrific save by Duncan to leap and acrobatically tip it over. But he can't keep out the goal that opens the scoring a minute later. Palmer pulling out to the right-hand side this time, sweeping in a nasty cross. Duncan comes off his line, attacks it, can't get at it properly. To be fair, I don't really blame him. He's got to try and do something because it's a delicious cross, but it's just outside his reach, and he can only pour it forwards. O'Connor is still there after the set piece, and it's a lovely finish by O'Connor. Don't ever underestimate O'Connor's technique. Very calm. He knows the keeper's not on his line, and although there are bodies in the box, he knows that if he keeps it cool and just strikes it cleanly on target, there's a good chance to goal, and that's exactly what he does. A lovely controlled volley standing in the D, and it goes in, and Wrexham have the lead. Could have been to equalise. right on the stroke of half time. Again, Mashash with a lovely little turn, feeding it forwards, and then Salah driving in the shot, well held down to his left by a Okonkwo, full stretch, although not quite maybe the pace on it to beat him. So second half, we make wholesale changes. Melbourne actually, and this didn't hurt us, lost Santos, the dangerous right-sided attacking player, to injury at just over half an hour. So they made one change already. They didn't change all their team. They left 3 experienced players on the pitch. We were completely changed. And it was Melbourne who had the first chance of the half. Ball into the box. Inceris is again trying to get into our right channel. Evans makes a really good covering tackle, but the ball drops out to Dariko. Hits a beautiful volley. Really clean contact from the edge of the D, which hits the bar. Danny Ward in for the second half. Hasn't got a chance. He can only watch it hit the bar and bounce out. It rebounds a fair distance, which shows how cleanly he struck the volley. And that's really it for Melbourne until the last minute of the match, because the second half is incredibly one-sided. Wrexham really get a proper grip on the game. Ryan Harvey and Ward come on for their first game since coming in this summer. And Hardy was interesting because, and I like this, he's quite quiet but sharp around the box, and then the moment a chance comes, he gives us a proper championship striker finish. This is what I wanted to see in him, if I'm honest. But he is alert in the box, and Ryan Barnett comes on and is immediately looking threatening down the right. And he's getting some very good service in. So Ashfield, he's come on alongside Harvey up front. On the right-hand side, feeds a lovely little reverse ball, just feeding it back in for Barnett. Barnett drills a great cross into the near post. Our new man up front is making that typical run you want a good striker to make. He will be rewarded for it soon afterwards. And he's just beaten to us a defender as well to get there and intercept and prod the ball clear. A couple of minutes later, again, Wrexham causing problems. We brought Mendy on the left-hand side, and we've brought McLean on in the centre of midfield. And this is a combination that works well. The two of them are causing issues, and McLean, with his driving energy from midfield, really looks impressive. And he nearly tees up after a lovely combination with Mendy, who works him round the back of the defence. He manages to pull the ball backwards. Players are attacking the near post. Unfortunately for Wrexham, he isn't able to find one of them. It just drops behind, and the danger is gone. But yeah, there are nice combinations straight away. Ashfield's looking lively up front, dropping off between the lines and causing issues. Hardy, like I said, showing instincts up front. Barnett on the right, McLean and Mendy on the left are looking sharp. And Wrexham are taking complete control now of this game. Next opportunity that comes Wrexham's way in the second half is just after the hour, as Ashfield really starts to get highly involved. Ball fed down the left-hand side by Mendy for McLean. Ball chipped in by McLean nicely. Ashfield is unmarked about 15 yards out. It's a hell of a tough header, though. It's really behind him and above him, and he does brilliantly to arches back and stretch and get some control on it, and he loops it over the keeper, hits the bar and bounces down. But the breakthrough is coming, and it does come in the 67th minute. McLean coming inside, feeds the ball out to Barnett. Barnett down the right again. Yeah, Harvey knows what he's doing. He knows what he's aiming for, Hardy does. Barnett drilling it into the near post, and the striker is there, timing his run to perfection. Lovely finish, getting there ahead of the defender now and drilling it into the roof of the net. Fantastic. That's what you want, isn't it? Guy who in the penalty area really comes alive. Within a minute, another guy who's looking lively in the penalty area nearly makes it 3. Good interception by George Evans starts the move. And then as Wrexham put pressure on. It ultimately falls to Barnett. Barnett puts another great cross in. This time it's Ashfield with a header, and he just can't quite make the right contact. Glancing it, trying to put it inside the far post. He puts it just wide of the far post, but it's constant pressure now. Aaron James stepping up, feeding the ball wide. Barnett with another good ball in. Difficult header again for McLean, but he does well to get between two defenders. But from 8 yards out, can't get on top of it properly. Heads it over the bar. Then again, Mendy with a nice little pass inside. I love McLean's movement is brilliant. And he just finds this pocket of space in the corner of the box. And he's there, bending down, demanding, Mendy, give me that ball, play it here. And Mendy does. McLean turns, dinks a lovely little dinked ball in, which is headed partly clear. And Barnett tries to hit a screamer from the edge of the box. Can't get hold of it properly and slices it. It threatens the keeper, but drops onto the roof of the net. Just too much on it. In the 78th minute, Wrexham get the third goal, and it's an unfortunate one as far as the goalkeeper, Gruskowski, is concerned. He's come on, he's a teenager, he comes on, and I'm afraid he doesn't cover himself in glory. Barnett feeding a good ball down the right channel. Hardy's really running those channels well, and he drives in a shot from the edge of the box. It's blocked, comes out to George Evans. Evans hits it first time. Nice strike. Well directed towards the bottom right corner, but the keeper gets behind it and should save it, and he doesn't. It goes through him, and it's in. Evans has clearly got a plan for his celebration. He was seen the Wrexham meeting Aaron Finch, the old ex-Australian one-day captain in the cricket, and also going to the AFL, the Aussie rules, and learning how to play hand passes. And so George Evans does his AFL celebration, referee signal celebration. He looks a bit embarrassed because he knows the keeper should have saved it as well. But he hits it first time, and the keeper's not set himself quite right, and he's lost it as it's come to him. We could have got more. McLean sweeping in a corner, which is nasty, and the keeper makes some amends with a really good save, because McLean has put it right in the far top corner, and he backpedals Gruskowski to tip it over the bar. From that corner, McLean again pings it in nicely. Brunt attacks it 10 yards out, drills it into the ground, doesn't really probably get hold of it. A deflection in front of the keeper takes it just wide of the left post, probably saving a goal. We have a worrying moment and Hardy goes off. He gets a bang on the head, a nasty one. It's like he goes up and the defender behind him heads him in the back of the head. And he has to go off. Let's hope there's, he walks off unassisted, so that's good. Let's hope he's okay. And as I referred to at the start of the half, it's actually Melbourne to get the last opportunity of the game. Lazarevsky breaking down the right channel. He's got a chance to drill in a shot, which is thwarted because not for the first time George Evans makes an excellent covering run, gets back and gets the block in. So like I said, you can't draw too much from a game like this, but it's very pleasing. Wrexham winning 3-0 against a strong side. And yeah, we looked very sharp for a first pre-season game. You often would expect to see a bit of rustiness, but we were honest. It was very, very pleasing indeed. Let's have a look at the performances. First half, team. Okonkwo looked sharp in goal, made a couple of sharp saves. I think you'd expect him to make all of them. The best one was the one low to his left that he parried behind, but yeah, it was good to see. He looked alert. Across the back, Cleworth was excellent, made some good, important challenges when they tried to break on us when Longman was committed up the pitch. Scar was impressive as well, winning everything aerially, playing some good passes into midfield and some good diagonals forward for Palmer as well. O'Connor had a bit of a rough time because Santos was their main attacking outlet in terms of actually driving forwards, and he looked impressive. But O'Connor, he stuck at his task. Like I said earlier, to be fair, he is exposed by the system. And he got through it okay. Santos went off injured, which didn't hurt. The wing-backs, Longman looked very impressive, very involved, really threatening all the time. Tuck it in sometimes to join in with play, getting some great crosses in. Revan on the other side was lively too, and was getting on the end of Longman's balls in. The beauty of the wing-back system, of course, you can get both men in, one can cross to the other, and Revan looked a goal threat, as well as combining nicely on occasions of late. In midfield, Matty James, I mean, the fact that James doesn't tend to properly sit in as an orthodox sitting midfielder meant that sometimes there was space between the lines for Melbourne in the first half, but that's all right. Because he's so good on the ball and he brings the ball forwards. He helps us with the press. So the press looked good in the first half. And yeah, he was picking up some goals in dangerous areas and feeding sensible passes and having shots off on goal from distance too. Lee grew into the game, I thought, really looked sharp the last 20 minutes and threatening, looking to thread little passes. And as he does, not being frightened of getting into tight areas and holding on to the ball and waiting for the right moment to release. I thought Dobson looked very sharp, covered a lot of ground, crisp passing, looking to be progressive as well. I was really pleased with him. Marriott was making lots of good runs. Things didn't quite fall for him right in the box, but his continuity play was good. He had a couple of shots off that he didn't quite get hold of. And Ollie Palmer. Now, Ollie Palmer starting the match and looking tasty. I've got to say, he bullied the two centre-backs. Now, Miranda is first choice centre-back for Melbourne. Rawlins is a right-back / centre-back. They both played in that aforementioned A-League final. These are decent centre-backs. They were outclassed by Palmer, who was completely dominant physically. He was winning headers. He was controlling headers to find teammates and put a nasty ball in to tee up the first goal. Palmer certainly did himself no harm whatsoever with that performance, I can tell you. Second half, of course, like I said, we had a completely different team. Danny Ward came on and had nothing to do. And let's not waste any more time on that. The three centre-backs, Aaron James. I really like Aaron James. And again, he's confident. He chooses well when he's going to step out from the back line when we haven't got the ball. His use of the ball is good. He came forward a couple of times with good effect. When we had the ball, undefensively, he's rock solid. O'Connell looks strong too. The back three didn't have that much to do defensively, but O'Connell played a couple of nice passes forwards, typically, including one really nice threaded ball from the halfway line to the edge of the area, which got a move going. And then Brunt, again, defensively strong, and went on some of those deeply satisfying, smooth drives forwards. He's so good with the ball to his feet. The wing-backs, Barnett was very, very impressive, I thought. I really got such good quality into the box and was a constant threat. Mendy was lively on the left. Now, his combination, like I said, with McLean was impressive. McLean, Mendy sometimes would switch over. Mendy tucking inside, McLean going around the outside. Sometimes Mendy didn't quite see what McLean was doing. I mean, McLean's movements, I thought, was excellent. Typically, he was driving play forwards, delivering good crosses, also getting into the box, trying to get on the end of things. Very impressive by him. George Evans was more of a sitting midfielder, I would say, than Matty James was very good. Made some really good interceptions. His passing was accurate. And a couple of important interventions as well, covering back when we were, like I said, pushing our wing backs up and leaving ourselves a little bit of a deficit in the wide central defensive areas. Rathbone came on and, without setting the world on fire, was getting there for second balls, was important in taking play forwards. We ran midfield, and McLean, Evans, Rathbone were very efficient and tidy in the way they did that. And then up front, Ashfield himself was great, dropping off, lovely skills. He's so confident. He can handle himself physically, and you look at his levels and you think, what do we actually do this season? If he is loaned out, I certainly wouldn't loan him out to a non-league team, put it that way. He looks very, very good. Hardy, I've talked quite a bit about him, looked sharp, came off near the end. Callum Edwards came on, up front. Edwards, firstly, looked pleasingly built in terms of, he's definitely not laid off the weights, I think, in the summer. And he didn't really get a chance to do anything. He only had a couple of minutes. Although he did at one point chase one of the centre-backs after a ball which was overhit and was ushered out for a goal kick. But the way he gave a 10-yard head start to the guy and still nearly beat him to it showed that electric pace. And we'll be looking, I'm sure, to loan him out and develop him. He's a prospect. That was good. That was fun. So you don't want to draw too much out of a pre-season friendly, but I think Wrexham can certainly feel a good amount of satisfaction for how that went. A pleasing workout, and now it's on to Sydney. with a final score. I can't believe I'm a Wrexham fan and I'm saying, oh yeah, well we've won in Melbourne, now we're going to Sydney. Oh, what? It's great, isn't it? With a final score of Melbourne victory 0, Wrexham victory 3, I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.